I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I've never thought I was ever going to write a 10-minute speech on how I graduated a quasi-military school. I mean, that, to me, just blows my mind, and probably my family's mind as well. I'm really going to start my speech is by talking about how I went to the IDYCA and how I stayed in this program. I went to the IDYCA because I was not doing well in school at all. I had 15 credits, and I never even graduated my sophomore year. And I know some of you guys only have 1 or 7 credits and brag about it. But really, that's nothing to brag about. But now, you do have something to brag about. You successfully graduated the IDYCA, and that is something to be ecstatic about. A little tangent. Let's get back to why I stayed here. I stayed here because I finally saw that this program is what I need in my life. But I didn't always have that mindset. When I was in this program, I got surgery on my toes. May that I mention, it was both toes. After that surgery happened, stuff went downhill from there. I could barely walk. I'd be carried on a stretcher for a couple of days by a few of the best brothers I could ever ask for. I had to sit out of PT for a long time, and I mean long time. After a few weeks of this, I started getting depressed, and I didn't feel a part of my flight. Like I was just letting them down, or just holding it back. And I hated that. That was one of the worst feelings I've ever felt. About 6 weeks after my surgery, seeing the nurse every day, going to Morphino to see the doctor, I was just done. And may that I know, at this point, this was week 9, and I was done. I legitimately had the mindset to go home. I was for sure that I was going to go home because I didn't need this program. I didn't need this academy. I called my mom multiple times crying to her to get me out of here. I even ignored my mom when she said, "I love you." I was so angry at everything that I just gave up. I wasn't talking to anyone. I wasn't doing any PT. And finally, the cardio just got done with it. I went to the Cadet review board. Let's just say I was not compliant at that point. Well, about halfway through, Cadet Osgood, a fellow acts brother whom I love, mentioned disappointed. And I broke down crying. I fell to my knees and bawled in front of them, and I'm not afraid to admit it. One of my biggest fears is disappointing my loved ones, and that should be yours too. It is not worth disappointing your loved ones. After I caught my breath from crying and just letting it out, I agreed to talk to them. I agreed to talk to them the next day. I'm going to say that was the best talk I've ever had. After that moment, I dedicated practically my life to this program, and I pushed as hard as I ever pushed myself before. I realized how much people cared about me and wanted me to stick with this and push forward. If I would have gone home at that point, I would have let down everybody that wanted to see me succeed. Tech Sergeant Pratt, I mentioned him in the speech because he has really, really helped me. With the long talks he's given me, how he motivated me by spending the time and money to take care of me and get me back on my feet and back to my flight. I could tell he knew that was one of the biggest things that was bothering me. And he did everything in his power to help me, and I just felt let him down. Tech Sergeant Munlin. Now, everybody loves this guy because he just has this way of just motivating us axemen and getting us to set that standard again. As soon as he got on shift, I got so excited because if any one of us was having a bad day, then he knew how to get us happy again. Tech Sergeant Collinsworth. Now, I really don't know her all that well because she's the newest of the axemen, but as far as I know, She is two different people. And I suggest getting on the good side. The bad side of her is really tough and strict, while the other side of her is funny and jokes around with you a bit. What I think is really funny is no matter what time of day, be it 7 o'clock at night or 4:30 in the morning, you will never, and I repeat never, see her without a Red Bull in her hand or candy on her person. I will never forget the moment when all the X-Men were online and she comes out of the cadre office and announces, "What positions? Moved." I think only 3 people knew what that was and actually went into position. As for the other majority of the flight, broke bearing and just laughed as hard as they could. Even me. And Tech Sergeant Toynbee, I know he's not here anymore, which really broke the axe fight for a while, because for me, during acclimation, he was one of the coolest cadre there. He let us do this yoga thing where we all lay down and thought of a happy place. Let us fall asleep to just relax and take the edge off. He showed us how to properly flip a tire, which really came in handy, trust me. He just really knew how to have fun in the darkest times. We all miss you, Tech Sergeant Toynbee. Tech Sergeant Nelson, now there are too many Nelsons in this program, I think. The point I'm getting at is all of these cadre in this program have helped me in more ways than I could ever imagine. And if I didn't mention your name, don't worry, I appreciate everything you have done for me. As for the staff, all the teachers, and our counselors and case managers, you guys have all helped me. I honestly never, ever thought I would have above C's in every class for more than 3 weeks. And I know that's how most of you guys feel as well. Mrs. Norris, she's not part of the Axe Flight staff anymore, but once an Axeman, always an Axeman. As it says in our Axeman Creed. Thank you, Griffin. She has helped me in many ways. One, for example, being able to drive me to Orofino and being there when no one else would. She really cared about every single one of us, and it was hard having her leave. For Mrs. Nelson, our case advocate, when I wanted to fill out a DOR, she was the one that really knew how I felt and what I needed. She has gone through a lot of past cadets filling out DORs and seeing them go home. And when they got home, go back to their old ways. And I think it was her goal not to let me fill one out because she knew, she saw something in me that no one else did, including me. She taught me to be grateful for just the little things in life, and it has helped me so much, so I'm grateful to have her in my life. As for my cadets and brothers, man, where do I begin? At first, a lot of us got off with the wrong foot, and there was fighting and bickering. But as we moved along in the program, we had to learn to get along. Or else we would have no flight, and we wouldn't be those standard setters that we were supposed to be. As soon as we started getting along, started working as a flight, not so much as a one-man flight, that's when we became the best at marching and baking and all that. Because everybody was working with everybody. And in the end, we became those standard setters that we were supposed to be. I thank you for letting me be up here and giving me this opportunity in life. I just want to appreciate all the families that came, friends, mentors, grandmothers, grandfathers, and how you have helped us in this program. I also want to point out one very important thing that almost all the cadets love, their mentors. Now the mentors, they were very special in this program. The reason being, mentor days. Now I know for some cadets, their mentors didn't come, and I'm truly sorry for that. But for the ones that did come, Oh boy, was there a lot of puke that day. The point I'm getting at is the mentors dedicated almost their lives to you, and every single one of you should be grateful to have someone like that in your life. I know I am. I want to leave you off with a quote my mom sent me very early on in this program, and has helped me through some tough days. Whenever you find yourself doubting how far you can go, just remember how far you have come. Remember everything you have faced, all the battles you have won, and all the fears you have overcome. Thank you.